Hey everyone, I am Gary of the Elysiums. Welcome to a very special new CD purchases video. This is part 50. It's an awesome milestone. I've actually did this 50 times, which is crazy to think about it. But before we get this video, do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, like this video. And if you're new to my channel and you're wondering how I've done 50 new CD updates, just check out my catalog. Check out all the videos I've popped up. There's a lot of cool stuff I bought over the last few years. This started, I want to say, around 2020, probably around 2021 or 22. I think I started this series of my new CD purchases. Basically, I just show everything that I've gotten recently. And since I knew the 50th episode was coming up, I decided to do some shopping, and I actually have 34 CDs here that I've just purchased that I'm going to be showing off. Before I show them off, a lot of people have made comments in other videos asking me like where I get the CDs from and how am I so lucky at thrift stores and all that. So I don't buy everything from thrift stores. I check them out. I check out the Goodwill, see if they have anything. Tough to find. I go to local stores. I travel around a lot to look for CDs, and that's kind of what you have to do. Unfortunately, my hours are I have all different hours for my job, so I'm able to get out there during the day. I'm able to get out there in the morning, during the weekdays. So I feel like that's the time when you really got to get out there, because by the time Saturday and Sunday rolls around, everyone's off. Most people are off, and everything's sold out. They're shopping. So yeah, that's all I just want to say. This is a accumulation of. I don't really buy anything online because I like the thrill of the find. So this is accumulation of just traveling around, going to all different stores and things like that. There is a CD in here that I did order off of eBay, so I'll get to that when it comes to it. All right, let's get into the video. Coming up first, The Devil's Reign by the Misfits. This is probably the only Misfits release I am missing. So glad to finally have that. Featuring Jerry Only, of course, on bass and vocals. Des Cadena, on guitar. And Eric Kupacabra, Arse, on drums. Cool thing about this, besides the awesome artwork that the Misfits always do, but it's kind of like a skeleton of the band, of what it used to be. And this is a poster that came inside, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm not gonna hang it up. I'm obviously gonna keep it with the CD. So it's a two-sided poster. You see the band there, and then some artwork from the album cover, which is awesome. It would be cool to have two extra of these posters. I can hang up this side and I can hang up that side, so that would be cool. I love getting stuff like this in CDs, but I hate that I can't display it because it has to stay with the CD. All right, coming up next is a where's this from? I think this was from Italy. Italian bootleg. It's Black Sabbath, As Darkness Hits. So it was actually recorded at the Boston Orpheum Theater August 9th, 1992. So that means it was recorded during the Dehumanizer tour with James Dio on vocals. And there you see the track listing. I is on there, which I'm excited for because that is my favorite song off Dehumanizer and one of my top favorite songs that Dio did with Black Sabbath. There are a couple songs on here from the Ozzy era, like War Pigs, Iron Man, and Paranoid, and Black Sabbath itself, the song. Similar to Live Evil, I just kind of wish they didn't do that. They had enough songs at this point with Ronnie James Dio to not perform them songs, but obviously they're the big staples. They're the big Black Sabbath staples, so they had to perform them. Next up, A Day to Remember with Bad Intentions. Bad Vibrations. So A Day to Remember is a kind of a band I got into a little more recently in the past couple years. They are, I don't know how to describe them. They could be emo at times, which I actually hate emo, but I do like this band. Metalcore, I don't really know how to describe them. So there are, you have the screaming vocals, you have the singing, it's heavy. So it's kind of a band in its own category, I guess. I don't know how to describe them. Next, I'm glad to finally have this back in my collection. I remember buying this when it came out. An Overdose of Death by Toxic Holocaust. Bought this when it came out. It was 2007, I believe. 2008. Really cool modern thrash album. Awesome cover art. Always love the colors on there and the art design. Next, this is a CD I have. This is the self-titled from Motley Crue from 1994. But this is the Crucial Crew remaster, which I actually did not own. So this was the last Crucial Crew remaster that I needed to complete the set of all the remasters. Of course, this features John Corabi on vocals, no Vince Neil on this one. And with this being the remaster edition, has 3 bonus tracks: Hypnotized and Baby Kills, and then Living in the Know. Hypnotized and Living in the Know were unreleased tracks, and Baby Kills was from Quaternary, which was an EP that was released around the same time, which is like really rare to find. I see it at a local store, but they're asking like something around like $50 or $75 for it. I'm like, no, it's not worth it to get songs that are featured on that. You know, I'd like to have it for the collection, but I would never buy it. Next up, another great thrash band, Razor with Shotgun Justice. This is the 1990 release. However, this is the remaster on Relapse Records from 2015. Really cool artwork there. Yeah, I know I say it in all the videos whenever this stuff comes up, but I love that late 80s, early 90s cartoon art. Very similar to this. If you watched, I think it was my last collection update video, I spoke about how I met someone on Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't specify the zombies, so I got White Zombies, Los Exorcisto, which obviously I own, and he had Zombie Live up there, which is Rob Zombie Live. So I met up with the guy because I was in the area, and he was really cool about it and let me exchange it. You know, I was willing to buy this off him, and he said, you know, no, it's all good, you know, just do an exchange. But it worked out for both of us because he gave me his copy of Los Exorcisto from the his actual personal collection, and he had a double he wanted to sell, so it actually worked out that he got it back. This is Rob Zombie's first live album. John 5 on guitar, 18 tracks, you know, everything from his first 3 albums, I believe. Yeah, it would have been his first 3 albums. Set list there. There's the guys in the band. Next up, Stone Sour with Hydrograd. You know, I'm a big Corey Taylor fan. Obviously, I love Slipknot. Love him in Slipknot. I have the first 2 Stone Sour albums, the self-titled and Come Whatever May. Did not own this. And then I have 2 more I'm about to show. House of Gold and Bones Part 1. Let's see here. This actually opens up to make a little house. And House of Gold and Bones Part 2. So basically these 2, you can put them together. I'm not sure how. There's not instructions in here or anything, but like you can see there's the steeples, all that. You can actually put them together and make it like a little house out of the 2 digipacks, which is pretty cool. So part 1 and 2, glad to have them. Next is a band I bought just because it was super cheap, and I thought the artwork was cool, and I was looking through it, and I was like, well, I could definitely tell this is heavy. It's from the Netherlands. Let me pick it up and try it out. It's a band called Cypher with Dark Day Carnival. If anyone's familiar with this band, drop in the comments what you think of them. You know, I mean, the guys look, you know, you can just tell they're heavy by them pictures, that this is going to be a heavy album, excuse me. You know, obviously, we got 2 guitarists, 1 guitarist sings, bass player, and drums. This is a 2006 release. Never actually heard of them, so I was like, yeah, that looks cool, let me check it out. At that same trip, I was happy, I should say, to find this. The band X, live at Whiskey A Go-Go on the fabulous Sunset Strip. What was even cooler about this CD, because, you know, X is a great band. Another band hard to describe. It could be post-punk, they could be goth rock in a way, alternative. So, when I looked at it, it fell out. There's actually a backstage pass in there. So I was trying to find out if it's. I looked on Discogs, when you see all the pictures of the CD, and this wasn't included in the CD. So I Google searched it, Google photo search, and I did get a couple come up that was just a sticker, but other ones came back that's an actual backstage pass with the same backing as this. So I'm not sure if it's real or it's just a replica sticker. Either way, it's cool to have. I'm not trying to sell it or anything. I just think it's cool to have. So whether it's real or not, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, obviously it'd be cooler if it was real, but either way, glad to have it. Next up is a CD that I do see at a lot of used stores for very cheap, thrift stores and all that, and I thought I had it. It turns out I didn't, so I was like, why don't I have this? Because I know the album. The Smithereens with 11. 1989 release. I could have sworn I have it. Maybe I do. It just wasn't in my Discogs. That's what I'm going off. I'm going off my my cataloging on Discogs of what I own. And I did not see this in it, so I may have it, I may not. This one I definitely have plenty of copies of. And Justice for All by Metallica. I picked up this version. This is those cheap, like $5 remasters. I say cheap because they're $5, not because the sound's cheap or anything. But my girlfriend mentioned to me last night, or the other night I think it was, saying, why don't you keep any CDs in your car? Because my car still does a CD player. And I was like, well, I don't want to take CDs out of my collection, just leave them in my car. And I was like, but if I find something I already have for cheap, one of my favorite albums that I always like to drive and listen to, I'll do that. And this is one of the albums I like to crank when I'm driving, and Justice for All. That's a cool gatefold there. And what's cool about this too, I noticed, is this little sleeve it comes in, the CD. So this will be going in the car for, when I forget a CD or my CD ends and I don't want to listen to the same CD over again. I'll keep this in my car. Next up is the CD I mentioned that I bought off eBay. When this CD came out, for some reason it was hard to find for me. I think stores like Best Buy might have had it, but I was more of in a transition period where nu metal was starting to fade out, and I was getting into more of the heavier stuff. I was discovering more of death metal, traditional metal, and along with classic rock and stuff like that. So I missed out on this, and then for some reason, the years after, it was really hard to find in stores. And back then, I think this was 2002, there wasn't a lot of used CD stores at all, because CDs were still huge, and no one was really trading in their CDs. If they were I don't know, could have been Backstreet Boys or Paul Abdul, stuff from the 90s that they didn't want anymore. And metal is really tough to find used, to be honest with you. So it's Soulfly 3, which obviously is their third album. Yeah, it was 2002. I remember I was excited for this CD when it came out because I loved the debut and I loved Too Primitive. I didn't pick this up right away for some reason. I've never actually owned it till now. So glad to finally have it. Features their, I don't want to say a hit song, but the most well-known song off here probably is Seek and Strike. Obviously, Max Cavalera's band. So glad to finally have this in my collection. Next is something I saw, and I was debating on, but it was $1. So I was like, why not? It's called Baseball Anthems. I just thought it was cool because I'm a huge baseball fan, and I'm a huge Phillies fan, I should say, and I really love baseball. Been a Phillies fan since I was 3 years old. There's 30 tracks on here, but it's stuff like, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It's some of the songs they play on the organ when you're at the game. Who's on First, Seventh Inning Stretch. Different stuff you hear. More versions of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Jolt and Joe DiMaggio. I just thought it was cool. One of those CDs that you just throw on, you don't really have to pay full attention to while you're doing some chores around the house, and I thought it would be cool to own. Next, we have Queen on Air. So this is a collection of BBC radio sessions from... So the first disc is from February, July, and December of 73. Disc 2 is from April of 74 and October of 74, and then October of 77. So there, it's kind of hard to see. There's the track listing there. First disc is, awesome because it's all stuff from the first 2 albums. Yep. And then CD2, you get stuff from Sheer Heart Attack, and then all the way up to... drawing a blank right now. Why am I drawing a blank on this album? News of the World, sorry. It's the info. Yeah, it's cool to see the CDs look like, reel-to-reels. So that's pretty cool. And Queen live at the BBC, so it's not like a live concert. It's more of a more confined, more cleaner live sound, which is pretty cool. So next I have former Iron Maiden frontman Paul Di'Anno with Wrathchild, the anthology. This is a 2 CD set. Features a lot of covers and a lot of stuff that he did on the debut album and Killers. Re-record it solo. But there's others like weird, I wouldn't say weird, but covers you didn't think he would do. Like Kashmir, Ain't Talking About Love, Sympathy of Destruction, Hair of the Dog. What else is different on here? Living in America, the James Brown song. Oh, Play That Funky Music, the Wild Cherry song. Okay. What else we got on here? Shoot Shoot from UFO. The rest are basically just Iron Maiden songs. Nothing that Bruce did, though. And then from Overkill, first up we have The Grinding Wheel. Strong album from 2017. Digipack. Still cool artwork, Digipack, though. And then, where is it? I have one more from Overkill I'm going to show off. I Hear Black. So glad to have this as a standalone. I own with Overkill a small box set with this album including in it, but I like to have the single releases also. I bought the box set because it was a good price when I saw it, and I was like, well, there's a couple Overkill songs that I don't, Overkill albums that I don't have. I'm looking for it right now. So I figured for now, why not grab it? I don't have it here. It's actually with my box sets. I'll show a different video. But it's one of those box sets with like the really thin sleeves, where like the singles used to come in, the cardboard sleeves. Yeah, it's got stuff from I think it's Field of Fire up until I Hear Black, maybe. There might be something else after this in there. I forget. Anyway, let's get back in this video. This is called the Metallic Era. This is a French CD pressing of basically all the songs that Metallica did on the Garage Days EP, but those songs from the original artists. So it's stuff from like the Garage Days EP and just other stuff covers they've done, but not like the Misfits covers. Stuff from obviously Diamond Head, Blitzkrieg, Budgie, Killing Joke, the Anti-Nowhere League with So What, which is a crazy song, Holocaust, Sweet Savage, and Savage. I thought that was cool, so pick that up. This one, when I saw it, I was excited, but I was like, how is it going to sound? And it sounds absolutely horrible. Van Halen Classics Live. These are all radio broadcasts. Again, this is that Smoke and Production label that puts out these, official, unofficial live albums from a lot of bands. Everything's from the David Lee Roth era, except for I think two Hagar songs on here, The Seventh Seal and Get Up. But yeah, like I said, the sound is atrocious. It sounds absolutely horrible. It's a tough listen because of how poor the sound quality is, but it's cool to hear Eddie. It's cool to hear Eddie live, and different things he was doing on guitar, the improvising he was doing on some of the songs, and the soloing and all that. Next, Anvil, Forged in Fire. This is an early album from '83. Anvil, a great Canadian thrash metal band. Metal on Metal was actually an album that almost made it. I forgot to show it in the honorable mentions, I think, but almost made it in my top 50 thrash metal albums of all time. For those of you that haven't seen it, I did a part 1 and part 2 of 50 greatest thrash metal albums of all time, along with a third video and all the honorable mentions. But I forgot to put Metal on Metal on there. Next up is an EP. This is Pytheon. I think I'm saying it right. Pytheon. Called The Burden of Sorrow. So I picked it up because I saw the spine, and I was like, what is this? Probably metal. Saw the cover, and I was like, cool. 3 songs on there. I was like, either they're like crazy prog metal songs that are really long, or it's just an EP. So it is just an EP. And it's funny, because look who the vocalist is. Tim Lambesis. So, I actually haven't listened to this yet. Don't kill me, I'm not really sure off the top of my head who Ryan Gleason or Andy Godwin is. But I'm guessing they're more well known like Tim is, because their names are listed big, and then also in this recording, John P. Andrade on drums and Josh Gilbert on bass. So apparently them guys didn't get a bold font on their names. But Metal Blades record release, so another reason why I helped me pick it up. This CD I saw, August Burns Red, Found in Faraway Places. From the name August Burns Red, I thought it was more of those like, A Day to Remember or My Chemical Romance, even though those two bands don't sound alike. More of like an emo or metalcore or emo core or whatever you call it. And the hype stickers on this was one from Alternative Press magazine. I forget what that said, but another one was from Revolver magazine, said even heavier than their last album. So I took a chance on it, and I actually really like it. Turns out this is a deluxe edition with 3 bonus tracks on it. And you know what else I like about this CD besides the way it sounds? So yeah, I'm a new fan of this band. This digipack, the CD lifts up. So if you're going to make a digipack, this is the way to go. Lift up. Instead of like sliding it out here and the CD falls out, or the worst ones when they put the CD in this way and you got to try to get it out, and sometimes you got to bend this a little bit and your cover rips. It's horrible. So if you're going to make a digipack, which I advise against, but if you really have to, do it like that. It's much better. Next we have an album from Paul Westerberg of the Replacements. This is called Come Feel Me Tremble. Released on, this is a later release, I think it was early 2000, released on Vagrant Records, which is that punk label. Paul Westerberg, obviously a huge influence in the pop punk and post-punk scene. So looking forward to checking this out. This was cool. This one, I'm a fan of both of these guys, and this is one of my favorite Christmas songs of all time. It's July, so we're going to do Christmas in July real quick. When I saw it, I was like, that looks a little rare. And it turns out it's like selling on Discogs for $15, which is, not expensive, but it's a single. So it's, for a single, it's pretty cool. David Crosby, David Bowie and Bing Crosby. I combined their names to make another famous musician. Peace on Earth / Little Drummer Boy, the Christmas song they did, which was a huge hit for them. This one is a 1995 release, which features a video, the music video, if you put it in your Macintosh or your PC. You'll need QuickTime for Windows 2.0 or higher. Yeah, so I thought this was pretty cool. Definitely something I'm excited to have in my collection. And I do every Christmas. The Christmas CDs are displayed all year round. They're, cataloged everything else. But at Christmas, I like to bring them out, and I'll be glad to bring this one out this year. All right, next up is a CD I have, but it's a standard edition in a jewel case. This is Evolution by Disturbed. So the reason I wanted this is because I own the deluxe edition. This is the deluxe edition. It's in a horrible digipack that just stands higher than a CD. So it's just like, it fits in there weird, and I don't know why. I'm that anal with digipacks. I really have a hatred for them. So I got this to have it in jewel case. However, the deluxe edition features 4 bonus tracks, which, I'm sorry, 4 bonus tracks, which are a live version of Sound of Silence featuring Miles Kennedy, This Venom, Are You Ready, which is a Sam Dae Jung remix, and Uninvited Guest, which is another unreleased song. I don't know if I'll get rid of this. I just hate that it's in a digipack like this. But I'm glad to put it in my collection like that. And all we need is that other... Oh, what's the last album they put out? Divisive. That one too. Put it in a jewel case for me, please. And this one was one I was missing. I didn't realize it. Fame and Fortune by Bad Company. This is a... What year did this come out? I just want to say 80... Sorry. 1986. So Boz Barrel on vocals replacing... Why am I drawing a blank? Wow. Paul Rogers. I do too much talking in these videos and I blank out. So yeah, Fame and Fortune, 86 release, with Boz Barrel on vocals now. Sorry, I'm just like, I can't believe I messed that name up. Give me 1 second. I think I had this one I forgot to show. Yeah. Alright, so this is an album that I think I lost a while ago. It's a tribute album. I thought it was a really good tribute album. And I don't know what happened to it, but I found it again, but it's a Japanese pressing. It's This Is Your Life, a tribute to Durrani James Dio. Anthrax doing Neon Nights. Corey Tower doing Rainbow in the Dark, which is amazing. Howlstorm doing a killer version of Straight Through My Heart. Those two are my favorite songs off of this CD. Motorhead with Bill Buffett from Saxon doing Starstruck. Scorpions doing The Temple of the King. Duro doing Egypt. Killswitch Engage doing Holy Diver, but that wasn't recorded for this. That was recorded for their album. That was a hit single for them. Catch the Rainbow with an all-star band featuring Glenn Hughes, Craig Goldie, Rudy Sarzo, Scott Warren, and Simon Wright. I love that song. Oni Logan, Jimmy Bain, Rowan Robertson, Brian Tichy. Then we got Rob Halford with Doug Aldrich and Vinny Appice doing Man on the Silver Mountain. That Metallica Ronnie Rising medley that they do. And then Dio, the song This Is Your Life is on here. But this Japanese version has 2 bonus tracks. Striper doing Heaven and Hell, which is a killer version. And the Dio Disciples, which is basically just a lot of, like, almost everyone on this cover here doing a cover of Stand Up and Shout. So glad to finally have this again. I love that tribute album. Next are 2 from OPED that I was missing. Heritage. Standard jewel disc, jewel CD version, jewel case version, because I do know they did a deluxe edition in the digipack, and their newest album that I just picked up now, The Will and the Testament. They had a deluxe edition of this also. I chose to just go for the standard edition in the jewel case. Really hard to see. The artwork's very dark on the cover. And then we got 2 left here. This is Songs in the Key of Love and Hate, Puddle Mud, Volume 4. Got to get my butt rock fix in. And this is, I have the first 3 Puddle of Mud's albums, but I don't have this one. So I was like, hey, volume 4, I got to complete that volume. And finally, the last one, Unto the Locust by Machine Head. Another album I used to have, don't know what happened to it. This is a 2-disc set. CD 1 is the actual album. Second disc is a DVD, features the making of the album Unto the Locust. This is a follow-up to The Blackening, which was a very strong thrash album. This continues on that same formula almost, just not as thrashy, I feel, as The Blackening. Alright everyone, that is my newest CD purchases pickup. Sorry about the hiccup. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot Paul Rodgers' name and I called Bing Crosby and David Crosby. It's been a long day. Still upset over Ozzy passing, and got even more bad news today that Hulk Hogan has passed away along with Chuck Mangione. So that is it's sad, you know, especially Hogan. I mean, he was a big part of my childhood, big part of WWF, WWE, wrestling in general. I feel like wrestling is what it is today because of Hulk Hogan, and you know, he is a household name. Probably one of the very first wrestlers to become a household name, you know, along with Ric Flair, maybe Bruno Sammartino. And then also Chuck Mangione, a huge influence in the jazz world, and you know, just a great player. And you know, he left his music, which will live forever, live eternally. So it's cool that you know, these musicians were so talented that we get to enjoy their work, you know, even though they've passed on physically. Their soul and their influence stick with us. So hopefully no more deaths. I know that's impossible, but let's just remember to enjoy our lives, the short time we have here on Earth, and you know, let's make everyone smile. And you know, life's too short to get angry and argue with each other. So that's all I have for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. And I just want to thank every single person watching this video for the success I've had with my channel and making it to 50 new CD purchases. And this, you know, we've only just started. Next landmark will probably be 75, then 100. You know, I'm not stopping. I have the curse of the collector. I'll be growing broke, but I'll have my CDs. All right, thank you everyone. Take care.